Today, I-19 male was waiting for my girlfriend at our local park. I was waiting on a bench looking at ducks in a pond when a child right in front of me on his scooter, probably 6, fell over. I laughed, not out loud. The child was crying, being dramatic when his mother came rushing in checking if he's bleeding. He was not, he wasn't even scratched. The woman looked up at me, seeing me slightly grin, asking why I didn't help him. I responded, "He's not hurt, so why do I need to help him?" She got pissy and said if he was bleeding from his head, would you help him? And I said no, probably not. And she started having a go at me, acting like I should have helped a random dramatic child up from the floor when he wasn't even injured. I walked away and from a distance you could hear her yelling. I can't tell if I was a jerk or not, because he ain't my kid. He ain't my responsibility. And now for some comments. You are in the wrong for laughing at an injured kid and grinning at the spectacle. Who does that? You are in the wrong, honestly. It is attitudes like yours that's part of the reason why I feel like the world is a bad place nowadays. A little kindness and empathy goes a very long way. It's really your attitude that makes you a real jerk. Yes, you are in the wrong. Normal humans react when a child hurts themselves. Get up and ask the kid if he's okay. You're also a major jerk for describing a child crying when he falls off his scooter as being dramatic. I, 41 female, told my niece 10 several weeks ago she could go trick-or-treating with us. Last week she came over after school to play with my daughter, 10. After about an hour of playing, my daughter comes out of her room in tears. I asked her what was wrong, and she said, "Niece told me you unalived my little brother. I had a miscarriage several years ago. It was an extremely traumatizing experience as I almost died in the process." Daughter knows the truth, but it still hurts her to hear my niece say that. I asked my niece to come have a discussion with me as to why she would say such a thing. Her response was, "Well, it's true. Baby B died in you, so you unalived him." I asked her where she heard that, and her direct response was, "My mom told me that's what happened." She promptly left the room and I called her mom to come pick her up early, as my daughter was not in the mood to be around niece anymore. When mom arrived, I let her know the situation, and the mom said, "Well, it's not a lie. Baby B did die inside of you. That in turn means you unalived him." At that point I had enough and made them both leave my house, and not before telling my niece she was no longer coming trick-or-treating with us. Her mom started to yell as she walked to her car that I'm a horrible person for not letting her go with us anymore. Her mom is now calling my mom to try and convince me to change my mind. That's just not happening. So, am I in the wrong? Edit. My niece's mom isn't my sister, she's a family friend. Our girls have been together since they were infants. And now for some comments. Quote, "She's a family friend." No, she's not much of a friend. Stay away from such people. You're definitely not in the wrong. No, you're not in the wrong. How hurtful and stupid. What's wrong with your friend? That she would even think something like that, let alone say it to her daughter and to you. Not in the wrong. I suffered a late-term miscarriage about 6 weeks ago, and I would never talk to anyone again if they said that to me. I don't care how long I knew them. I'd be done. There is enough stigma, guilt, shame, and embarrassment around miscarriage as is. You don't need this in your life. Nothing was your fault. Nothing. Last week, I, female 21, was supposed to go to Paris for a week with my friends. My niece, J6, was understandably very jealous when she found out we'd be spending a few days in Disneyland, and started begging me to take her. I told her I couldn't, but promised to bring her back some presents for her and my nephew. My sister Kate, 26, even said that maybe they could go on their holiday next year. This wasn't good enough for Jay, so she started whining and then screaming. So my sister took her home. This was a week last Wednesday. They came round on a Sunday, the day before I was due to leave. I was packing my suitcase and had all the things I was taking spread around my room. My passport was on my desk, but when I went to pack it was gone. I couldn't find it anywhere, neither did my parents or sister. We finally found it in the possession of my nephew, and he'd ripped through the page with my photo, rendering it useless. When my sister asked him what he was doing with it, he told us that Jay had given it to him. My sister started interrogating Jay, and she finally admitted that it wasn't fair that I got to go to Disney and she didn't. So she gave it to S and told him they were playing hide and seek with it. She's been abroad and knows that I can't go without my passport. There was no time to get a new passport, so I didn't get to go on the holiday I've been saving ages for, and it was late to get a refund. The cost of the holiday, the park tickets I'd already paid for, and the replacement passport totals £725. And I told my sister I want her to pay me back. She said that S is only little, and he didn't know what he was doing. I told her I believed that, but her daughter knew full well what she was doing. I did tell her if she couldn't do it in one go, I was happy to accept installments. She refused, and she and her partner are acting like I'm a jerk. My mom and dad are siding with me though, and telling them they should pay me back. My sister said they would have to take the money out of the savings they have for the kids' Christmas presents. And was I happy for taking away their Christmas? I reminded her she didn't have to pay in one go. Edit to answer some frequently asked questions. I looked into an emergency passport and claimed my insurance. An emergency passport takes a week, and I was due to travel the next day. Insurance doesn't cover you if you don't have a passport prior to traveling, only if it's lost while on holiday. My niece has been punished. My sister told her that there was absolutely no way they would be going to Disney next year. I also gave her my own form of punishment. My friends still went on holiday, and I gave them some of my euros to get me some Disney swag. I asked them if they could get a Nemo cuddly for my nephew. Is Nemo mad? I didn't blame him for the incident because he's only little. I made a big show of making it clear she got nothing, but that she would have done if she hadn't taken my passport, and that she brought it on herself. I still had an older burgundy passport. The photo page was paper and easily ripped. And now for some comments. Not in a wrong. It should come out of their Christmas. The kids damaged your passport and caused you to miss vacation and lose significant money. A loss of some Christmas gifts would be a lesson to them, at least the older one who knows better, and to the parents as well. Not in the wrong. It's not your fault her daughter is a spoiled brat that thinks she can get whatever she wants, however she wants. Jay deliberately gave S the passport, and regardless of who ruined it, it was ruined. Jay's little jealousy stunt cost you a vacation and now useless passport. The least her mom could do is reimburse you for her children's mess. Not in a wrong. For a kid of 6, she sure knew what and why she did. Missing on the Xmas presents will teach her to keep her emotions and actions under check. For context, me, female 26, and my fiancé, male 28, have been together for 3 years. Finances are split till after marriage. We have equally paying jobs. He doesn't pay when we eat out, he doesn't pay for any fixes in our rental apartment, and also doesn't help with furniture and stuff. I try to have conversations about how I'm always supposed to foot the bill for almost everything. His excuse is that he's been saving for a new apartment. Been saving up for 2 years now. But he still has half of his salary, which he uses on himself and buys gadgets and gaming stuff. When I try to argue about it, he'd say it's his money after all, and remind me of how he's saving up to buy an apartment for us. Days ago he called me and asked that I take him to the hospital to treat his ankle. It's been hurting him for weeks, but only now he decided to get it checked. I drove him there since he was in pain, but was surprised when he told me to pay the bill. I asked him why not, and he brought up the new apartment he's saving up for again. I had it, especially after he threatened not to add my name to the new apartment's title if I refused to help him out. I snapped and told him to pay for himself and stop using my money with the apartment excuse, then I left. He had to pay but was furious, saying I'd let him down in his time of struggle. Also said that my attitude isn't partner material. I told him I felt like he was using the new apartment to spend my money, but he said I had no empathy or sense of responsibility to support and help him out when he is doing me a huge favor and buying me an entire freaking apartment. He's calling me selfish and negative. I don't know, I feel guilty for doing this, and now he's avoiding me entirely. Am I in the wrong? Not in the wrong. You are being used. 100% when he has enough money for the apartment, he dumps you. Stop footing the bill and leave him. Not in the wrong. Also, honey, he hasn't saved for an apartment. He'll have an excuse when that time comes. Do not marry this user. You're worth more. Not in the wrong. Ask him how much he's saved up by now. Ask for a timeline on his supposed new apartment. Tell him you'll start saving up to pay half of it. Let him know you expect him to start pulling his weight on the everyday spending from now on. I, 30 male, left the UK about 7 years ago to move to the other side of the world by myself. I broke things off with my ex of about 1.5 years just before this. She was controlling and I wasn't in the right space to be in a serious relationship, so had to do what was best for me. Been with my now fiance for 6 years and getting married in February. One of my best friends back home recently, 6 months or so, started dating said ex. I initially told him about the wedding and made sure he would be able to get time off work to come over for it. When he told me he is now with my ex, I didn't have a problem, but he is now expecting to bring her to my wedding as a +1. Me nor my fiancé think it is right to have an ex at our wedding, so I have rescinded his invite. And since then he hasn't spoken to me at all. Am I in the wrong? It is. Clarification. He didn't receive a formal invite. He got a verbal one letting him know the date as well as a save the date prior to him insisting he was going to bring her. Was told he can come but without her. Said he wouldn't, so was not sent a formal invite. And now for some comments. Not in the wrong. I think it's pretty standard to not want an ex at your wedding, unless you happen to break up on really good terms. Even then it's still a bit dodgy because it's a bit unfair on the spouse to be. You and your spouse are paying for everything, so invite only people you would want to spend the money on. Not in the wrong. I don't understand why everyone is questioning you not wanting your ex at your wedding. Not in the wrong. You and your partner's wedding. Your friend should appreciate that it would be so awkward to have an ex at a wedding and respect your wishes not to bring her. He's clearly chosen his side in this debate.